Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the February wrap-up. Okay, so the first book I read last month was Peter Pan Must Die by John Verdon. And this was a thriller mystery that was the fourth book in a series that follows a detective. And in this book we follow that detective who's called Gurney and his sort of friend as they try to solve a murder even though someone had already been convicted for it, but they found out that that person was actually innocent. And so they deal with corrupt investigators, a mob boss, and an assassin that has a childlike appearance, and so has earned the nickname of Peter Pan. And I loved the three other books that I read of this series, but this one, not so much. I just didn't think there was really any tension or, thrill. And honestly, I was kind of bored because I feel like the same information was repeated so many times that I was just like, I get it. I didn't love it, but I did like the resolution of the plot. So it was just okay, and I gave it 3 stars, which is definitely the lowest rating I've given to any book of this series. So the next book I read was Knock Knock by Stephen Leather, and this was a horror short story. And in this book we follow Jack Nightingale, who is called to investigate an app that allows a demon from hell to cause havoc on Earth. And I decided to read this book/short story because I was craving something horror but also something quick, and so I decided to read it. But when I started reading it, I didn't realize that this was actually part of a series. And the main character, Jack, was well known to the people who follow the series, but he was not known to me. And so I didn't know him or what he was about, or I didn't have a connection to him. And so it was obviously a short story, so it was very quick. And I did not have enough time to, connect, care about the characters. So that was definitely my mistake. But I did like the plot. It was definitely interesting and I had fun reading it. And I gave this one 3.5 stars. So the next book I read was The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, which is the book 4 in the Wheel of Time series, which is an epic fantasy series. And I never know how to speak about books in series without spoiling stuff, so I'm not really going to talk about the plot. But mainly I want to say that a lot happened in this book. I mean, obviously because it was almost 1,000 pages long, but a lot of things happened with all the characters. And speaking about characters, I had a roller coaster of emotions with some of them. I even stopped hating 2 of them. And I hope I don't regret saying this, but yeah, I stopped hating 2 of the characters. The character that I really, really love, my love was consolidated. I still absolutely adore him. And there was a revelation that blew my mind, and every time I think about it, I'm still in shock. But yeah, it was a great time, and this was my favorite of the series so far. And I know I still have 10 other books to read, so that might change. And I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Also, if you want to actually hear my thoughts with spoilers, I have a reading vlog that I will link in the description. Next book was The Maid by Anita Prose, and this was a mystery thriller, and it was also one of my anticipated books for this year. So, Molly has always had some struggles with social skills and reading people's intentions, but her grandmother has been always there to help her out. But now that her grandmother has passed away, she is on her own. And she works as a maid at a hotel, and one day she finds one of the guests dead, and quickly the suspicions fall on her. So I was really excited for this book because the premise sounded really interesting and thrilling to me, but it really wasn't either of those things. And I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it. And Like I said, I felt like there was no real tension or thrill to it, and it was kind of slow. Like most of the book really was kind of slow, which a thriller should not be. And also, I didn't really like how some of the characters were portrayed, including the main character, but not only. And I've read some reviews saying the same things. And other reviews from people who love it say that it was like a cozy read, but I didn't think so. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I'm sounding like I hated it. I didn't. But I also didn't love it. And I gave it 2.5 stars. Okay, so next was A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, and this was also a mystery thriller and also one of my anticipated books. So, when Chloe was 12 years old, some girls went missing, and at the end of summer, her father was arrested as a serial killer. And now, 20 years later, she's a psychologist and also about to get married, and more local girls, on the town that she's living now, start going missing. And she's sort of having deja vu. So I want to start by saying that I did not like the main character. I didn't connect to her. She was really annoying me throughout the whole book, really. And also, I barely know anything about psychology, but I would say that if you yourself are really struggling with your mental health, maybe you should not be a psychologist to try to help others dealing with their mental health. You know, just a thought here. In terms of the mystery aspect of the thing, I thought that it kind of went around in circles for a long time without really going anywhere, and the big reveal, plot twist, whatever, was pretty obvious from the beginning of the book. So, no real mystery there. But, unlike the other two thrillers, this one was actually thrilling. It had some tense moments, which I definitely appreciated, and it saved it from being 2 stars to being 2.5. Okay, next book was These Deadly Games by Diana Urban, and once again, mystery thriller and one of my anticipated releases for this year. In this one, we follow Crystal, our main character, and she's a high school student who out of nowhere gets a message with a video on a strange app that suddenly appeared on her phone. And that video is of her younger sister bound and gagged. And then the kidnapper starts sending more messages, and she has to play the kidnapper's game or her sister dies. And at first, what she has to do is bad but not very harmful. But it quickly turns into things that can really hurt her friends. And Crystal realizes that that is the goal of the kidnapper. And so she kind of has to choose between her sister and her friends, or she has to unmask the kidnapper. And like the previous book, I didn't really like this main character. She was kind of annoying. And some of the things that happened were also kind of obvious, and the main character and some other characters were just so slow to get them that also kind of annoyed me. But, however, I actually like this one better. I definitely like the plot still, and I thought it was thrilling. It also had some tense moments, and I had fun reading it, more than the other 3 thrillers I read this month, and so I gave this one 3.5 stars. And the next book I read was The Block by Ben Oliver, which is book 2 in the Loop trilogy, which is a science fiction trilogy, and I read book 1 called The Loop last year. And again, I really don't know how to talk about this without a lot of spoilers, but basically our main character, who is called Luca, is a prisoner, and there is an AI called Happy who kind of wants to get rid of humans to make the world a better place. And when I say get rid, I don't mean exactly exterminate them, because it sort of has a use for them. And so Luca and his friends have to try to save the world once again. And I loved book 1, and I also really loved book 2, and I read this whole thing in one sitting, and I mean, it's not that long, it's 300 pages, But yeah, I really liked it. I already love the characters from book 1, especially Luca, because it's in like a first person POV, so obviously much easier to connect with him than any other character. But I really liked Luca, and just like book 1, this was very fast paced, very action packed, but at the same time not too fast, and I really loved it, and it gave it 4.5 stars. And the third and final book is coming this year, and I am very excited for it. So last but definitely not least, I read the 2 books in the Merciful Crow duology, which are The Merciful Crow and The Faithless Hawk. And this is a fantasy duology. So we follow a clan chief, or in book 1, a future clan chief, a fugitive prince, and a cunning bodyguard. So in book 1, I really love our main character, who's called Fi, and I really liked her friendship with one of the boys. And she had a relationship that I didn't really care about, but most people seem to love, so I'm assuming I'm the issue here. And I really liked the pacing of the book, and also I loved the magic system. I thought it was really unique. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't read the book or watched my vlog, which I uploaded last week, if you want to check out my thoughts with spoilers. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting, and the plot itself was also very interesting, and I gave that one 4 stars. And book 2, I'm not gonna get into any details because the reading vlog for that one will be next week's video. So I'm not gonna spoil anything here. I'm just gonna say that I loved it very much, and I gave it 5 stars. Okay, so I think this is everything for this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!